everyone, welcome back to the channel. Soul MCA here, bringing you a little something different today. Today I'm going to do a product review. Today we're going to be reviewing these guys right here, the DR Black Beauties handmade strings. Now, as a lot of you know that have been following my channel, on one of my tutorials I was complaining about how I really need new strings, and I was telling y'all to pray for me. You know, COVID had kind of shut down the music stores and Guitar Center was closed, and I don't really like buying strings online, although I know it's the same strings all the time. I'm not a guy who likes to wait all the time. I kind of want to walk in, get what I want, and come out so I can put it on as soon as I don't care if it's next day or whatever. I just want it now. And I realized that delaying ordering it also was stopping me from getting it, but it's some mental thing for me. Anyway, so I decided to get new strings. And I went researching on Google, and not really real research. I just put in DR strings because I usually play with DR strings. And the very first box of strings that came up were these Black Beauties. And so I said, well, I played with DR high beams and I loved them. I played with DR fat beam, Marcus Miller fat beams back in the day. I did like those, but I found that they slowed me down a lot. They're the very first strings I played on when I had that outside of the standard strings that come with your guitar, when I changed my strings for the first time. And I didn't realize how much they were slowing me down because of the gauge until I switched to something lighter. So I went to the high beams. I've done the pure blues. So I thought, well, Black Beauties, I mean, it's DR. They're still handmade strings, and this company's never failed me. And let me preface this by saying this is not a knock on these strings. I'm going to be as objective as I can about this. I'm not, although it's going to sound like I'm bashing them, these strings have a market for someone. The market right now just is not me, okay? And let me tell you what I enjoy about the strings as well as what I enjoy about strings generally, so that you can understand where I'm coming from for this. So let's deal with what I like first. So the good thing about these strings is this. Let me give you a little demo here or something. I think the lows are phenomenal on this. I feel like the low really growls when I go for that open string B flat for me. I think even the stuff down here, I've actually noticed since switching strings and doing my tutorials, when I go to edit them, I'm in the red now when I go to turn my sound up, where I wasn't before. In a lot of the lower area, it's like clipping crazy hard. So somehow these strings have also given volume to my bass. My bass is a passive bass. I keep my settings pretty much the same place. I know exactly where to crank my volume for each of my videos, but for some reason it's given a little volume boost. So that's good. So we got a volume boost, that's great. The low end is great. I think even the slurs and stuff you can do on here, I think the highs ring out decently. String bends. I think they're very clear. The high end is very clear. So you might say, well, if you got great low end, you got great high end, you know, the mids are even decent. What is your problem with them? Now, let me also say I've only played these strings for about 2 weeks. Now, to understand why I have problems with these strings, you have to know what I like in strings. So there's two basic types of strings. You got flat wounds and you've got round wounds. I am a round wound guy to the T. Like that annoying, you could probably hear it right in the regular mic without me even turning on the bass. I love that sound, and it's a little muted here. I don't completely love it because it can be harsh, but I like round wounds to to that scratch, you know what I mean? Like to where it's like cutting up your hands a little bit the first day or two while you're playing them. And these, because of the paint, so they're called Black Beauties for a reason. They're actually painted black. I'm not even sure if you can see that here. Let's see if I can show y'all a little better. It's made my bass look completely different in the last few tutorials. I can't even really put it at maybe a little angle so you can kind of see. Like the light doesn't really reflect off of these that much. And that's one of my problems with it. I feel like it's dulled down the look of my bass. And again, I'm not kicking in DR's back. This is my personal opinion on these. You might be like, well, that's just an aesthetic thing. And it is. It is. So just take my review with a grain of salt. But because I have black accessories on this bass and my knobs are black, the shiniest part of my bass is this blue section here. The light goes off of it very nicely, which I like. And I didn't realize how much even the silver would bring out the silver in the fretboard. And so now that I put black strings on it, kind of just looking at the bass, it always looks dirty, looks kind of dingy to me. It's not really showing up in tutorials too, which might be a problem for you all. The other thing I really don't like, because of the paint, my hands sweat a lot. Like even now, they're a little, I can just like fly off my own hands. And these strings, because of the paint, are very slippery. And so my first day playing with them in church, and even a little bit today, I was just sliding like past notes. Like I didn't want to slide that far. There was no e-brake. There wasn't there. I just kept going. And that can be a little problematic, especially if you play towards the back of the frets. So that's not something that I personally would like, and that's why I like the grit of full out round wounds. And these are round wound, but these are more like a perfect mix between flat wound and round wound. If you like that, these may be for you. I feel like because of the paint, they may go a lot longer, because there's not as much like outside shell to wear down. That's the thing about round wounds. The first, like, I don't know, depending on how much you play, maybe 3 weeks sound amazing while you still got that level of outer core on it. But then as you start to wear down that outer core, they start to mellow out a little bit, and they don't give you as much attack, especially on the brighter end of things. And then you've got to do some things EQ wise and technique wise to get those strings to still sing a little bit. But those first few weeks with round wounds, whew, oh God, awesome. And I feel like these will keep that sound a lot better, a lot longer because of the paint, and because they even though they are round woundish, they have like flat wound I don't know, attributes to them. So mainly it's just a look thing, but the big no-no for me is the slipperiness of them. I can't, like, just, I'm ready to take off. And that is a personal problem for me. And it just feels different because of that flatness, that round, flat wound type feel that it gives you, I can't really feel my frets, which I didn't realize. You know, a lot of times I play, not so much on the tutorials because I want to make sure I get it as close to right as I can for the videos. But live, I don't really look at my fretboard when I'm playing. I just, you know, I'm playing the songs, I'm familiar with them. Occasionally I might look down to know where I want to go next for a phrase or a lick or something. But I didn't realize how much I can do that because I can feel the frets behind them. For some reason, I don't know if these strings are a little thicker, even though the gauges read what I normally get. This is a 4-pack of 5 between 45 and 125. So the highest string, the G, is a 45. The lowest string is a 125. We've got 45, 65, 85, 105, and 125. You know what? I'm thinking I usually do 130 and 110 at the higher rate, so at the lower rate. So maybe it is a gauge thing. But I can't really feel the frets, and that has bothered me a little bit. I'm sure with more time, I'm going to give these more time and probably do, if I can remember, I'll do another review as I've broken them in a little bit more. I don't know if these strings are new. I've never seen them before. Like I said, normally when I put in DR, that's not what comes up, but they did. And that's my review on them. Take it or leave it and do what you want with it. Just know you heard them for yourself. So, you know, you can make your decision based on what you heard. I'm not a slap guy. I'm trying to give you all a little slap something. It's probably going to sound like trash. Is not really there. Yeah, see that like my old strings would have, the ring on that would have been, it wouldn't have been so, feel like these are kind of muted. And again, that has to do with flat wounds. It's a sound that is kind of associated with flat wound, and the paint might just be bringing that down a little bit. But again, my assessment on it, take it or leave it, do what you want with it. If you like how they sound, great. You know now, or you have an idea now of what they're like to play with. According to me, if you don't really have sweaty hands, it might not be a thing for you. If you like the feel of feeling like you're playing on kind of a fretless bass, go for it. Try it out. This might be the closest thing you get to having a fretless if you don't want to make the full jump. Again, I do love the lows. I love the lows on this thing. Man, I was listening back to playing in some service, and I was like, yo, that is growling down there. And I do like how the highs sing. I do wish there was a little more decay. The decay was longer, and I wish there was more of that grit. Just more of that grit that comes with really, 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 really round wound strings. I'm Soul MCA. Hope you enjoy. I know it's a little different, but let me know if you like this. Maybe I'll do some more product reviews whenever I get them. Have a good one. God bless. See you next time.